Continuing from the previous chapter, Lin Dong, undistracted by the allure of beauty, insisted on engaging in combat with the mysterious woman to seize the ancient secret key. The sudden change in the situation made the woman in red pause momentarily, clearly not expecting Lin Dong to make a feint, exploiting a tiny flaw to force her to retreat. You're quite an interesting fellow. Sister here truly underestimated you. However, if you think snatching this ancient secret key from me will be easy, you're in for a surprise. Though this unexpected turn of events caught her off guard, Lin Dong had also underestimated the woman's prowess. Her slender jade hand flicked, and a fiery red whip lashed out, moving with a bizarre curve and the speed of lightning, coiling toward Lin Dong's neck. Sensing the ferocity of the woman's counterattack, Lin Dong dared not be careless. His palm clenched, and the sky crocodile bone spear materialized, immediately spinning and striking, deflecting the fiery whip coming his way. As the bone spear clashed with the fiery whip, sparks flew. Lin Dong felt a numbing sensation coursing through his arm, shocking him. This woman's strength was formidable. Struggling to fend off the incoming whip, Lin Dong's mind stirred, summoning the blood spirit puppet once more. Its fierce fists, like a storm, rained down upon the woman in red. The woman, wary of the blood spirit puppet far more than Lin Dong, swiftly responded. Her delicate jade palm moved, unleashing an aura no less intense than that of Chun Mu, surging forth from within her. She met the blood spirit puppet's attack head-on. Boom! 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 Asterisk, asterisk. Muffled sounds resonated through the air as powerful shockwaves rippled out. While the woman in red was locked in fierce combat with the blood spirit puppet, Lin Dong was entangled with the fiery whip. As the battle continued, his amazement grew. This woman was indeed exceptional, able not only to hold her own against the blood spirit puppet, but also to simultaneously manipulate the fiery whip to bind Lin Dong, preventing him from seizing the ancient secret key. The fiery whip was clearly no ordinary weapon. A scorching heat emanated from it, and even the slightest contact made Lin Dong feel his blood boiling. Fortunately, the domineering power of his devouring force suppressed it. I can't drag this out with her. Lin Dong's eyes flashed. The woman's background was mysterious, and no one knew what hidden tricks she might have. He needed to secure the ancient secret key first and make a swift escape. Though I may not be a match for your true form, if you think you can hold me off with a mere earth-tier spiritual treasure controlled remotely, you're underestimating Lin Dong. Lin Dong retreated a step, flicking his finger. A streak of black light shot out, expanding rapidly in the wind into a towering black mountain, Heavy Prison Peak. The moment Heavy Prison Peak appeared, a wave of black light surged downwards, enveloping the fiery whip in a powerful gravitational field. Instantly, the whip's agile speed slowed, and Lin Dong seized the opportunity to counterattack, forcing the whip to retreat. You're not without your skills, little brother. The woman in red, visibly affected by the disruption, furrowed her brows and chided angrily. Lin Dong remained silent. Her voice was enchanting, even now, carrying a teasing tone, but he knew all too well from their battle that she was merciless. If he allowed himself to be swayed by her words, he'd only have himself to blame for his misfortune. Lin Dong had no desire to court disaster, so he chose to ignore her taunts. Seeing Lin Dong ignore her, the woman in red snorted softly. A hint of coldness flickered in her peach blossom-like eyes. Her slender jade hands began weaving seals, and a powerful wave of energy suddenly radiated out. Grand Enyang, Jade Palm. A surge of primordial energy erupted from the jade-like hands of the woman in red, surging out like a tidal wave. In the blink of an eye, it formed a light imprint of a palm, half black and half white. Though the light palm wasn't large, the waves of energy it emitted were enough to make even Nirvana Stage experts like Hua Yun's group change their expressions. Clang! The light palm moved without hesitation, sweeping out swiftly like lightning and striking the blood spirit puppet squarely in the chest. An astonishing ripple spread out like a hurricane, and even the formidable blood spirit puppet was forced back dozens of steps. A faint handprint mark remained imprinted on its chest. Had this palm struck any other Nirvana Stage expert, it would likely have caused some injury. However, the blood spirit puppet had no sense of pain, so as soon as its steps steadied, it immediately charged forward again, relentlessly launching a barrage of attacks on the woman in red, undeterred and tireless. Facing the unyielding blood spirit puppet, even the woman in red's beautiful eyes narrowed slightly. She bit her silver teeth lightly, clearly finding it quite troublesome. Under normal circumstances, she would have taken her time to smash this spiritual puppet into scrap metal. But now, she didn't have that luxury. Lin Dong was continuously pressuring her fiery whip, weakening her control over it. If this continued, the ancient secret key would inevitably fall into Lin Dong's hands. Her bright eyes flickered, and after a moment, she gritted her teeth hard. A slender jade finger pointed into the air, and a drop of crimson blood seeped from her fingertip, rapidly expanding into a peculiar blood talisman. Seal! The blood talisman expanded, resembling a spider web, descending directly over the blood spirit puppet. Bang! Bang! The blood spirit puppet struggled fiercely within the blood talisman, but the blood web was exceptionally sturdy. For the moment, even the blood spirit puppet couldn't break free. With the blood spirit puppet temporarily trapped, the woman in red turned her gaze toward Lin Dong. Her face was slightly pale, evidently drained from the blood talisman earlier. At this moment, the woman in red was glaring fiercely at Lin Dong. Yet, this fierce expression, set against her beautiful face, carried an oddly enticing allure. "Little brother, you've really managed to anger your sister," she said, her beautiful eyes narrowing as she gazed at the nearly immobilized fiery whip under Lin Dong's suppression. Lin Dong quickly glanced at the trapped blood spirit puppet, his heart slightly shaken by the woman's tactics. With a flash in his eyes, he took a sudden step forward, reaching for the ancient secret key in the skeletal hand. The woman in red had anticipated this move. She waved her jade-like hand, and another black and white light palm materialized, hurtling toward Lin Dong. If this palm landed, even with Lin Dong's Nirvana golden body, he would likely sustain injuries. As the fierce wind came down on him, Lin Dong's expression shifted several times, but ultimately hardened with determination. Instead of dodging, he reached out firmly and snatched the ancient secret key into his hand. Just as Lin Dong grasped the ancient secret key, the fierce assault closed in. However, at the moment when the light palm was about to strike Lin Dong's body, a massive snake tail suddenly shot out from Lin Dong's sleeve. The tail, enveloped in a strange purple-black energy, slammed heavily against the light palm. A crisp, explosive sound echoed, followed by a gust of wind that swept out. Even Lin Dong was forcibly pushed back several steps before he finally stabilized himself. Glancing at the snake tail that quickly retracted into his sleeve, he knew this was Little Yin and Little Mink working together in secret. Lin Dong, infuse your primordial energy into the ancient secret key. This space is linked to the ancient secret key. If you control it, you can forcibly eject this woman. Little Mink's urgent voice suddenly sounded in Lin Dong's mind. Upon hearing this, Lin Dong's heart trembled. Without any hesitation, he immediately channeled a stream of primordial energy into the ancient secret key. Since the ancient secret key was currently without an owner, Lin Dong's primordial energy met no resistance as it flowed into it successfully. At that moment, he felt a sense of absolute control over this space. Lin Dong lifted his head, smiling warmly at the woman in red. She seemed to sense something, and her expression shifted as she bit her silver teeth and clenched her jade-like hands. After a moment, she suddenly gave a charming smile, her eyes filled with a seductive allure. "Little brother, you wouldn't be so heartless, would you?" Lin Dong shrugged, completely unfazed by her enchanting smile, and replied with a grin, "I don't have much of a choice. If I don't act decisively, the one getting kicked out might just be me." As he spoke, Lin Dong gently raised the ancient secret key in his hand. Instantly, The surrounding space rippled, and a beam of light shot down from nowhere, enveloping the woman in red. Her figure within the light became faint and blurry. Under the beam of light, the woman's face alternated between shades of blue and red, but her composure remained intact. Even at this moment, she managed to flash a seductive smile at Lin Dong. However, the words that escaped her lips made Lin Dong's mouth twitch. "Your name is Lin Dong, right? All right then. This time I admit defeat at your hands. But don't think you've won. You've merely obtained an ancient secret key. I'll be waiting for you at the ancient secret repository. But if you're still this weak when we meet again, don't blame me for being ruthless. Remember my name, Mu Hongling. And remember this as well. You might not be so lucky next time." Watching the enchanting figure finally disappear within the light, Lin Dong exhaled a long breath. This woman was truly a handful. With Mu Hongling forcibly expelled from the space, Lin Dong finally felt a sense of relief. He gestured with his hand, and the blood spirit puppet shattered the blood talisman seal, landing steadily beside him. I have no idea who this woman really is, but even the blood spirit puppet couldn't handle her. Lin Dong glanced at the handprint on the puppet's chest, his brows furrowing slightly. Her strength seemed even greater than Chen Mu's, and her methods were quite extraordinary. The blood spirit puppet was trapped earlier, and if it weren't for little Mink and little Yin intervening from the shadows, Lin Dong might have had to resort to his final trump card. Although he had managed to drive her away, giving him a slight edge in this confrontation, Lin Dong knew he might have made another enemy. Mu Hongling was beautiful and spoke gently, but Lin Dong understood that women like her were the hardest to deal with. Offending her today could lead to unknown troubles in the future. Frowning in thought for a moment, Lin Dong chuckled to himself. It was too early to worry about such things. Regardless of her identity, the ancient secret key was something he was determined to obtain. Even if he had to go through it all again, he wouldn't hesitate for a moment. To become a true strongman, one must have no fear in their heart. That woman certainly has some appeal, but ordinary men probably couldn't handle her. Little Mink appeared at that moment, grinning. Lin Dong shot at a glance, and then lifted the ancient secret key in his hand. "Let's go. We've got what we came for. It's time to leave." "Leave? Why? Who knows if stepping out now would land us back in the Grand Hall. Chun Mu, or even Mu Hongling, could be waiting there. Going out would be a death wish," Little Mink scoffed. Upon hearing this, Lin Dong's expression changed. If Chen Mu and Mu Hongling were indeed lying in wait outside, he would be in quite a predicament. Currently, his true strength was still insufficient to contend with Nirvana Stage experts. Even with the blood spirit puppet and the ability to summon the ancient sky crocodile, facing such a scenario would be exceedingly dangerous. "But we can't just hide here forever," Lin Dong hesitated. "Idiot, didn't you obtain the tree pattern talisman? This place is safe. Use the power of the talisman to break through to the level of a Heavenly Talisman Master. Then you'll have the strength to contend with Nirvana Stage experts, and you won't have to fear Chen Mu and the others," Little Mink advised. Lin Dong was momentarily stunned. Then a look of delight spread across his face. He had almost forgotten about the tree pattern talisman he had just acquired. If he could advance to the level of a Heavenly Talisman Master, he would be on par with a Nirvana Stage expert, and then he wouldn't have to fear Chen Mu. In this ancient battlefield, only those who reached the Nirvana Stage had a say. Having made up his mind, Lin Dong wasted no time. He immediately sat down cross-legged on the spot, and with a grasp of his hand, the naturally formed tree pattern talisman appeared in his palm. The tree pattern talisman was a vibrant green, emanating a boundless vitality. Within this powerful vitality, a strange, potent energy seemed to be contained. Just holding it, Lin Dong felt as if his spiritual power was soaking in a hot spring, with gentle waves spreading throughout the Naiwan Palace, a place in the cultivation system believed to be the residence of consciousness and soul. No wonder it's from the Heavenly Talisman tree. Feeling the strange and powerful energy, a look of admiration flashed in Lin Dong's eyes. This tree pattern talisman is naturally formed, making it particularly difficult to absorb and refine. However, Since you possess the devouring ancestral talisman, you don't need to worry too much. As for whether you can break through to the level of a Heavenly Talisman Master after absorbing it, that will depend on your own luck, little Mink said from the side. Lin Dong nodded slightly. With a flick of his sleeve, little Yin shot out, transforming into its combat form with a low growl, crouching beside him. Although there were no other people in this space, Lin Dong remained cautious, ensuring maximum protective measures in case something unexpected happened, and it was too late for regrets. Seeing little Mink, little Yin, and the blood spirit puppet guarding him, Lin Dong felt a bit more at ease. He slowly closed his eyes, and the tree pattern talisman in his hand floated upwards, stopping in front of his forehead. Its emerald green light flickered, but did not penetrate outward, proving that what little Mink said about its difficulty to refine was indeed accurate. However, for Lin Dong, who possessed the devouring ancestral talisman, this did not pose much difficulty. The devouring ancestral talisman specialized in devouring and refining. Any energy would be transformed into its most primitive form under the talisman's operation. As Lin Dong's mind moved, the devouring ancestral talisman, which resided in his Nirvana Palace, leapt out from the top of his head. As it wriggled, it transformed into a black hole, which then expanded and enveloped the stubbornly resistant tree pattern talisman. The devouring force spread out overwhelmingly. The tree pattern talisman, which had previously remained immobile no matter how hard Lin Dong tried to pull it, began to tremble. Strands of emerald green energy were forcibly extracted and swallowed by the surrounding black hole. Simultaneously, the peculiar energy refined by the devouring force flowed out in tiny streams, pouring into Lin Dong's Nirvana Palace through the top of his head in a continuous stream. As these strange emerald energies flowed in, Lin Dong's Nirvana Palace began undergoing a dramatic transformation, like snow melting under a blazing fire. Originally, the Nirvana Palace was in a state of chaos, with only the devouring ancestral talisman residing within. Looking around, it was filled with a chaotic hue, resembling an unformed world. But as the strange, vibrant green energy filled with vitality flowed in, a transformation finally began. The chaos gradually dissipated, as if heaven and earth were starting to separate, and yin and yang were beginning to emerge. Lin Dong naturally sensed the drastic changes occurring within his Nirvana Palace. However, instead of panicking, he was overjoyed because he knew that to truly advance to the level of a Heavenly Talisman Master, one must break through the chaos within the Nirvana Palace, creating a small world that resonates with the outside world's heavens and earth. Only then could one wield the power of the heavens and earth and unleash limitless might. However, creating a small world within the Nirvana Palace was clearly not something that could be accomplished overnight. Thus, even with the tree pattern talisman's continuous infusion of life-filled strange energy, the transformation remained rather slow. But Lin Dong was mentally prepared for this. If becoming a Heavenly Talisman Master were so easy, what would those who painstakingly gathered Nirvana pills and risked their lives to break through to the Nirvana stage think? This was a task that required patience and meticulous effort. In the silent space of the secret key, Lin Dong sat cross-legged, calmly meditating. A circle of a black hole spread out before him, and at the center of the black hole was the mystical tree pattern talisman. The talisman trembled continuously, releasing a stream of vigorous, pure energy filled with vibrant vitality. This energy seeped out steadily, ultimately pouring into Lin Dong's Nirvana Palace, where it was helping to create a small world. Beside Lin Dong, little Mink and little Yin waited quietly. If Lin Dong could successfully advance to the level of a Heavenly Talisman Master this time, he would finally rank among the true experts in this ancient battlefield. The space remained silent, but while little Mink was intently focused on Lin Dong, perhaps no one noticed a faint trace of life energy spreading from the black hole, eventually merging with the skeletal remains sitting not far away. Subtly, a mysterious glimmer seemed to flicker beneath the lifeless skin of the remains. Lin Dong knew that forming a small world within the Nirvana Palace would take time, But he hadn't expected that once he closed his eyes, a full month would pass. During this month, his body remained completely still. The tree pattern talisman within the black hole, which had once been filled with abundant energy, gradually dimmed, clearly indicating that its energy had been slowly and thoroughly absorbed by Lin Dong. Little Mink, watching the tree pattern talisman now emitting only a faint glow, felt a slight sense of unease. It could sense that over this month, Lin Dong's spiritual power had grown at an astonishing rate. However, this growth still hadn't reached the level needed to break through to become a Heavenly Talisman Master. If Lin Dong's small world within his Nirvana Palace was not completed before the tree pattern talisman was fully absorbed, then his hopes of advancing to a Heavenly Talisman Master might be delayed once again, something that was not good news for them. 3 more days passed under Little Mink's worried gaze. Finally, the tree pattern talisman within the black hole trembled violently before it disintegrated with a bang. Sigh. Seeing this, Little Mink let out a soft sigh. As it did, Lin Dong, who had kept his eyes tightly shut for over a month, slowly opened them, revealing a trace of a bitter smile and disappointment. Just a little bit more? Lin Dong shook his head helplessly. It seemed that even with the help of the tree pattern talisman, he had still failed to break through to the level of a Heavenly Talisman Master. Eyes filled with disappointment, Lin Dong was just about to stand up when, suddenly, a drastic change occurred. The skeletal remains not far away suddenly exploded, and a strange gray light shot out at an incredible speed, directly entering Lin Dong's mind. His body instantly became rigid, soul-seizing. Little Mink, stunned by the sudden turn of events, immediately shot a gaze filled with cold, devouring intent. The unexpected situation caught everyone off guard, even the shrewd Little Mink. However, it quickly realized what was happening. Its eyes turned dangerously dark. This was the first time since meeting Lin Dong that its gaze had been so chilling and terrifying. Soul-seizing. The words came out almost through clenched teeth, the icy tone slow and deliberate. Little Mink glanced at the exploded remains. The gray light must have been a spiritual imprint left behind by a powerful individual. Normally, this imprint would remain dormant as long as Lin Dong didn't disturb the corpse. However, the life energy released by Lin Dong while devouring the tree pattern talisman had inadvertently activated this hidden spiritual imprint, causing it to erupt in an attempt to forcibly seize Lin Dong's body. Roar! Little Yin, sensing something was wrong, had its fiery red scales flashing with a red glow, letting out a series of low growls aimed at Lin Dong. Lin Dong's body remained rigid in place, his eyes becoming dazed, occasionally flickering with a look of struggle. Inside his Nirvana Palace, chaos erupted. The gray light rushed into his Nirvana Palace, transforming into a terrifying storm. The violent tearing force seemed intent on ripping apart Lin Dong's spiritual power entirely. This was the first time Lin Dong had encountered such a situation. Within the gray light, he could feel an intensely cold presence, and the gray light appeared to possess some form of intelligence. Its purpose was clear: to destroy Lin Dong's spiritual power and render him unable to control his own body. Damn it! Although Lin Dong felt a bit flustered by the sudden turn of events, he didn't panic. He wasn't entirely sure how to deal with this situation, but he remained rational, withdrawing his spiritual power and hiding it within the devouring ancestral talisman. The dark gray storm raged wildly inside his Nirvana Palace. It was incredibly powerful, but fortunately, Lin Dong had the devouring ancestral talisman to protect him. Although he didn't immediately know how to counter this force, he managed to hold the last line of defense firmly, not allowing the gray storm to encroach further. "Give me your body, and I will grant you boundless power." After several attempts to invade, the dark gray storm failed to break through Lin Dong's seemingly impregnable defense. A faint, cold voice emerged from within the storm. "Where did this wretch come from? Get out of here!" By now, Lin Dong was infuriated by this unexpected disaster. Hearing the voice, he nearly lost control and erupted with anger. You possess such a divine object as the devouring ancestral talisman, but you're far too weak to wield its spiritual power. If I take control of your body, I'll make sure you live a life of glory." The cold voice sounded again from within the storm. The storm expanded suddenly, carrying a terrifying force that seemed capable of crushing the heavens and earth as it bore down on the devouring ancestral talisman. Seeing this, Lin Dong dared not be careless. He sensed that the gray light wasn't particularly powerful. Its methods of manipulating spiritual power were far more advanced than his own. Thus, even with the devouring ancestral talisman, he was forced into a defensive position. Creak! The storm's pressure on the devouring ancestral talisman was immense, and waves of pressure spread out, causing Lin Dong's mind to tremble. But then, gritting his teeth, he decided to act aggressively. His mind moved, and he crazily activated the devouring force, directly attacking the storm, attempting to devour this unknown entity. Lin Dong's sudden counterattack caught the mysterious entity off guard, eliciting a cold snort. The storm whirled wildly, resisting the devouring force. However, this also meant that the entity couldn't make any significant progress, and the two sides were locked in a stalemate. "Kid, my interest in your body is a blessing for you. If you continue to be obstinate, I'll scatter your spirit completely and make you vanish into thin air." A cold, angry shout came from within the storm, clearly surprised by Lin Dong's tenacity. "Scatter me? Who do you think you are? Even in death, you dare to cause trouble before Lord Mink? Do you really think you can't be dealt with?" As the angry shout rang out, a massive surge suddenly swept through the Nirvana Palace. A sharp roar echoed, and an enormous claw appeared from nowhere, slamming into the storm with immense force, pushing it back. Little Mink, seeing the unexpected assistance, Lin Dong's spirit was instantly lifted. Inside the Nirvana Palace, waves surged. Within the chaos, a massive beast emerged faintly. Its gigantic wings blotted out the sky, as if the heavens themselves were under its shadow. The sight was utterly astonishing. Lin Dong was somewhat shocked as he gazed at the colossal creature within the chaos. This must be Little Mink's true form. He had not expected it to be so intimidating. "Heavenly Demon Mink?" A voice filled with shock came from within the storm, clearly recognizing the massive beast. "Blind fool. Even in death you're restless. Just a residual spiritual imprint, and you dare to stir up trouble. But since you've shown yourself, don't even think about leaving now." The colossal creature within the chaos spoke with a sharp and fierce voice. Then, its massive wings flapped violently, sending out two tornado-like storms that struck the gray storm with lightning speed. Although Little Mink was currently in its spirit form, its mastery over spiritual power far surpassed Lin Dong's. Here, it was overwhelmingly powerful. Every move it made unleashed incredible force. Bang! Bang! Asterisk, asterisk. The gray storm was pushed back repeatedly by the two tornadoes, finally exploding completely. In the aftermath, a faint gray shadow appeared in Lin Dong's spiritual perception. The gray shadow was almost entirely transparent, but its vague features were identical to the skeletal remains Lin Dong had seen earlier. So it really was this guy causing trouble. Lin Dong cursed inwardly. He had almost fallen victim to this dead man's ploy today. "Heavenly Demon Mink, all I want is the boy's body. You're just in a spirit form now. If I can revive, I can bring you back to life too. Why protect a nobody like him?" The gray shadow's gaze was filled with wariness as it looked at the massive beast in the chaos, shouting defiantly. "Lord Mink has been with this kid for so long without ever having such thoughts. You, an outsider, dare to pull this stunt in front of me. Get lost." Hearing Little Mink's sharp voice, Lin Dong, if he could show his emotions right now, would likely have a rather awkward expression. What on earth was this guy saying? Little Mink clearly had no intention of giving the gray shadow any chance. In the darkness, its gigantic mouth, said to be capable of swallowing mountains, suddenly opened wide. A beam of purple-black light shot out violently, tearing through the chaos with terrifying speed, and slammed into the gray shadow's body. Since you're already dead, stop causing trouble and rest in peace. Accompanied by little Mink's cold shout, a flash of fear appeared in the gray shadow's eyes. Immediately afterward, its body exploded, and the spiritual imprint was forcibly shattered by little Mink's attack. Crash! With the explosion of the gray shadow, a vast and powerful surge of spiritual energy erupted within the Nirvana Palace. Lin Dong, devour this spiritual energy and break through to Heavenly Talisman Master. Little Mink's voice echoed in Lin Dong's ears as the spiritual energy spread out. Upon hearing this, Lin Dong's heart trembled. He quickly nodded with determination, and with a thought, the devouring ancestral talisman expanded into a massive black hole. In a domineering fashion, it began to absorb all the spiritual energy that had lost its imprint. As the immense spiritual energy was devoured, the Nirvana Palace underwent another transformation. The chaos quickly receded, separating heaven from earth, clearing the skies and solidifying the ground. Faintly, the sound of thunder could be heard rumbling within. At this moment, the Nirvana Palace had completely transformed into a small world. And just as heaven and earth fully separated, a strange bell-like sound, as if resonating from the depths of the soul, gently rang out. This caused Lin Dong's spiritual power to expand and strengthen instantaneously. As his spiritual power grew stronger and stronger, it began to rapidly condense within the small world. Gradually, it formed into a tangible figure, a true spiritual form, and this figure was none other than Lin Dong's spiritual body. However, this spiritual body was now far more refined than ever before. The spiritual waves emanating from it far exceeded the limits of what a high-level symbol master could possess. Heavenly Talisman Master. Lin Dong slowly clenched his hand, feeling the surging waves of spiritual power. His eyes filled with ecstatic joy. He had finally taken this crucial step